My name is Eugene Wright.
And I'm Doug Taylor.
And this is More Spiritual Than Lyrical, The Conversation.
I love it.
All right, so we talked about, being authentic and also your generation coming from desensitized emotions, us sending our emotions too long, but also being desensitized to have a care about what's going on in the world. That brings me to a section of like the lowlights, right? We talked about how they had the memes ready, the internet is undefeated, but another thing of social media is that people will post their highlights. They post their wins.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? They don't really. It allows for people to gloss over the things that they need to fix or the things that's really going on or the internal work that has to be done. So I wanted to make sure I had a section on the album that catered to that, and that's where it get dark in the album. It's hard to get through it. I know that, but it's like that's a part of the journey. That's symbolic for life. Sure. So when you talk about records like Amen for Amy, like for me personally, like the low lights when the camera's not on, when I'm not belonging to people, it's like, hey, I'm semi-successful on the outer world, but also this stuff can hinder me because I'm able to afford all of my vices, whether that's appliances, TVs, living comfortably, having a drink or having a smoke or whatever it was, that I found a vice in at that time, which I don't smoke like that. I still vape. I still got work to do.
We all got work.
Baby steps and bringing it down. But
I had a foot-long Polish sausage yesterday, so we all got our vices.
You know what I mean? Remember you told me when I was like, is this pork? He's like, you might be at the wrong. But not like those things that we have to do to like grow as individuals that we don't necessarily show the world. I mean, I'm pretty sure that exists in your world also, but I imagine that as a pastor with people looking to you for guidance, they think sometimes it can create like a false sense of like, hey, you got all the answers. It's like, you kind of teach us that the word has all the answers, but they'll sometimes look at you as if you don't have the answers or you don't go through things. And you very open about, hey, I go through stuff, I'm working to improve, you know what I mean? But like, what's that time like, and how do you figure out those things and like those challenging moments, especially in your adulthood and with balancing, being this public figure to a certain degree?
Yeah. I think one of the things that helps is I am notoriously honest with myself about myself. I am quick to point out, you off today. I'm quick to point out, hey, you're not giving your best right now. I'm overly critical of myself. And so in doing that, I found the freedom in being honest with people. So the low isn't low as long because I tell people about it.
Gotcha.
I talk about my son a lot. Like my son is like for real, bro, becoming one of my closest friends. And so I'll share with him like, bro, here's where I'm not dumping all my stuff on him, but hey, here's an area that I realized I should have grown in, or here's a leadership decision I made and it was the wrong one. And I think there is so much freedom. It goes back to being authentic,
right?
Because the truth about it is, I've messed up way more times than I won. I've blown it way more times than it blew up, and those are the lessons that help people grow. I tell all my stuff. I mean, you've been there. I tell my family struggles. I tell my personal struggles. If what happened in my marriage, I put it out there because that's what's gonna cause people to resonate. That's what people appreciate, and I've learned more with losses than I have with gains.
Man, that's such a wonderful statement. Just like it's honest, it's true, and it just shows the humanity, outside of what people think the position entails. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like,
and I really think you help people believe more when you show Superman and Clark Kent. Ooh. If you only show Superman, you become my hero. If you show me Clark Kent, you can be my friend.
Gotcha.
I think that's a superpower, bro. Because for years, and I've learned, I tell people, I'm so confident saying, I don't know. And I had to learn this too, to, as a leader, giving you answers don't necessarily help you. I'd rather give you information. I'd rather give you resources.
That is, wow, that's amazing.
That comes with parenting, though.
See, I ain't there yet.
Yeah.
I'm undefeated too, 37-0, no kids.
You know what I'm saying? So. yeah. But that's all evolution. I mean, that's the evolution that we talked about, because early on, I read a book, I realized I was an advice monster because I wanted to help people. I still want so much. Bro, I want so much for people to win.
I relate to that, and I'm glad you mentioned it, because like I have this weird Superman analogy when it comes to my music career. Like one of my biggest songs is called like Up and Away. Okay. And I've always had like this superhero complex when it came to music. Like, oh, I'm gonna be the savior of Alabama music, or my rap skills is Superman. Like, you know what I mean? There's only one thing that can hinder me. You know what I mean? I don't even know what that kryptonite is. Well, I mean, I know what the kryptonite is, but it's just like, yeah, if I start aligning my music, that's my kryptonite. But I got a choice to stay away from that, right? But then there's this, I even got this album where I themed Superman. Like, there's a documentary called Waiting for Superman, like by kids growing up in the ghetto waiting for somebody to come save them. Nobody will come save them. You know what I mean? That's the documentary. It's about inner city kids trying to get into good schools, but it's called Waiting for Superman. I used that as a theme at one point for one album. But I was that inner city kid waiting on somebody to save me. And instead of waiting on somebody to save me, I became the person that saved me. And I also in turn wanted to save everybody there. Right. So, but there was an analogy I heard in my later years, like 30, and it made me stop wanting to be Superman. Because when you look at every other superhero, right, this ain't got nothing to do with music. It's just like, you know, Bruce Wayne put on the costume to become Batman. Peter Parker put on the costume to become Spider-Man. You know, Tony Stark puts on the costume to become Iron Man. Yeah. Superman is Superman. Right. You know what I mean? He puts on the costume to be Clark Kent.
Oh, that's crazy.
You know what I mean? So that he can live
that's crazy.
So that he can dumb down and live a regular life.
No,
you know what I mean? Like
crazy.
He, you know, but so with that in mind, it's like
he puts on the costume to be Clark Kent. That's crazy.
So that he can live a regular life. You know what I mean? He has the capability of saving everybody, but he can't live in this world doing that all the time.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean? So he puts on the costume to have things like love, friendship, and all of these other things that we sometimes cherish or sometimes take for granted as regular human beings for the sake of wanting to be a superhero. Right. And as somebody who is naturally a superhero, doesn't have to become one, put on a costume to become one. He has to put on one to be
That's crazy.
a regular person. And I think that symbolically made me feel like, oh, it's not my job to save everybody. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I did enough by saving myself and trying to help everybody close to me. But that Superman mentality or role is really meant for God.
Really dope.
You know what I mean? So
really dope.
I mean, that's random and it's on the loop, but I feel like that's a part of the low light section too, because I also felt the depression knowing like I can't save everybody.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I say that in you know, some of the records like you said, God versus Man, where I'm like, man, like, yeah, I was a rap god. I'm a rap god to some people because I rap so well. I've done so many things. I'm so successful. I've done everything from freestyle battles to albums to shows to radio. I've done it all. Yeah. So it's like, oh yeah, he's like a rap god. Like, I can be a rap god, but a god of man ain't shit to a man of God. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
I want to be a man of God more than I want to be a rap god. You know what I'm saying? Like, the purpose needs to be bigger than the person that's doing it. Sure. You know what I mean? So. And even in other records like Spirituals, later toward the album, like what was the bars in that? Trying to fight through our battles, when conversations ain't translated, we lost in the matrix trying to fight through our battles like they was fighting them agents. I'm probably more like the Oracle with the way that I explain it in this confusing way, but I used to think I was Neo, but ain't the one who could save them. Like, it ain't my job to save them. It's not my job to save people. Like you said, it's about providing information. I'm trying to do that through lyrics, but it's a real depressing thing to be like, I can't save everybody because it's people's that I love. I want to save family, friends, you know, romantic partners, like friends that got the same dream. We've been chasing this forever. And it's like the fear that, you know, which fear is just false evidence appearing real. Shout out to my friend that gave me that acronym. But it's like the fear that I may not accomplish this goal is disheartening. It's heartbreaking because I've given so much of my life to it. You know what I mean? And that's something I deal with as an artist. But even outside of being an artist, there are things like, you know, when I get depressed about family or finances or love or other emotions that I'm probably sitting in too long, you know, I may not have the healthiest ways of coping with them. Sure. You know what I'm saying? Sure. So it's like there are things that I know I have to work on, you know, that ain't necessarily seen to the public, but I think the way I deal with it is that I have an outlet.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I had to develop an appreciation for downtime. Like I told you earlier, my generation, dude, we were down a treadmill. I mean, you put us on, there ain't no turning off. Right. You know, and desensitized to my own pain. I have sports injuries now that plagued me at 52 that I got at 27 that I didn't go to physical therapy for. Like, I just start back. I got to get back in the habit of wearing the ring. 3 years ago, I'm playing basketball. Went for a steal, knocked my finger out of joint. It's like 45-degree angle. I popped it back in,
Kobe,
and played 3 more games. And I'm like, bro, we we won. But I had my freaking ring. I went 3 years and couldn't wear a ring because it was huge.
Sheesh.
And so I'm saying all that to say we were wired. You push through, you think about the pain after you're done.
Right.
And so as I started getting older, I realized, like, I used to talk about guys that take naps. Like, you
sleep when you die.
You sleep when you die. Dude, I had like 45. And that's the thing. I was like, I realized I'm not wired to be Superman all the time. And I was like, I'm human. I'm like fully human.
Right.
And, you know, I was like, I'm tired.
That's part of my low light section too, being human, learning how to be a human outside of like.
No, I used to tell folks, I'm a cowboy. I'm like, I'm a superhero. And I was like, no, bro. No, I'm way more human than I thought I was.
Yes.
And I embrace it now. So I tell myself, I'm conscious when I'm going too long. I'm conscious of when as it relates to, I was able to set up some healthy rhythms. So even as it relates to my marriage, I mean, shout out, love my wife, love my son, my daughter. But man, my wife has just been a great inspiration to me, and she's a great partner to my life, not just my passion, but to my life. But we have this thing once a quarter, we have to go on a staycation. Like, if we go day 91 and we ain't took like 18 to 36 hours to get away and do nothing, even if it's go downtown, get in a hotel room. She coming home, I'm coming home, but the ice ain't as sweet. I mean, ice ain't as cold, sugar ain't as sweet. We just know our cycle now.
Right.
And so every once a quarter, we need a day and a half, 2 days. We may say, we just gonna stay at home all day and not leave, take no meetings, no nothing. And I'm saying all that to say, I had to realize my rhythms changed. I can't do what I used to do. And I can still be successful. I can still win rings, but I'm Jerry Stackhouse. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You know, Vince Carter steered Jerry Stackhouse played so long because they adjusted their game.
Right.
And so there are parts of my life I'm still a starter, but other parts of my life I'm like, hey, I'm coming off the bench. I'm a role player. And as you evolve, I think a lot of guys can't handle understanding that your definition of success has to change.
That's what it was at 25. I just said this in the event I had the other day.
You way further ahead of me. I didn't get that till I was like late 30s, bro.
Well, that was my coping mechanism, going through that mental breakdown. But it was funny because like I said, I'm 37, so I'm 12 years removed from that moment. But I just did an event like Thursday, and somebody in the audience asked like, hey, I'm 25, I feel like I'm running out of time. And I explained the situation, told them the whole cake story. That's probably why it's fresh on my mind for this. But the thing that helped me was redefining what success meant for me. It was no longer chasing a record deal, being the number one rapper in the world, going platinum, getting a Grammy. None of that mattered to me anymore.
Right.
The goal was to make the music I want to make, say what I want to say, and put it out when I want to put it out without anyone controlling what I do.
Yeah.
And that has honestly made me more successful in the same field by redefining what it is that I was chasing.
So dope.
And so like when we talk about lowlights, that's one of those moments that like is a low light moment that I had to get over, that the public don't necessarily see as a rapper. And I think another thing that like rappers deal with, what you mentioned, like you're more human than you thought. I think the thing that's so it's kind of contradictory, because one, like I think with you being a pastor, humanity in spiritual realm is usually upfront about that. I think as in the field of being a rapper, quote unquote, we don't deal with our mortality well, because like there's not music about, you know, having a healthy relationship or a good wife, or you know, wanting to grow old. It's like, you know, it's the most we speak about life usually is like, oh, die young, or we survived the trenches. And it's like, you know, even outside of surviving that, a lot of times it's like, you know, we're gonna drink, we're gonna smoke, we're gonna do drugs, or we got the baddest women, multiple women. It's like it doesn't deal with the mortality of like living a day-to-day life.
Sure.
And I think like as a rapper, when you don't necessarily have the means to live that lifestyle, you feel less than. Or even if you do make it to be successful, you get all those stuff and it's still not fulfilling.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And I think there's a duality there that doesn't allow for humanity to really exist in rap. You know what I mean? Like I said that in one of the songs, like, I know why the good die young, because rappers rarely get to grow old. Rap life, everything that you want, even if it's bad for your soul. You know what I mean? Like, but you have to figure out like, what parts of this do I leave behind in order to grow as a human being? You know what I mean? Because all of these things that can come into this space of where I operate, I know it's not good for me. I know it's not gonna lead to the best version I want to be. You know what I mean? So really acknowledging like, hey, rap life is not always the best thing for me. I love the craft, I love the art form of it.
Sure.
But being in the midst of it ain't always the best thing, especially for where I want to go.
Well, I think what's dope about that is, what I hear is, you're not using the music for your own motive.
Right.
I think that's go back to the authenticity. I'm doing the music because I love the music, not because I'm trying to pay a bill. And so success for me is meaningful music, not a Grammy.
Right.
I talked to a young lady after church yesterday, and she was, bro, this is crazy. She was in real distress. She had recently moved from North Carolina. She said, when I was in North Carolina, she works for this big corporate company, and she said I was like number 9 in the country. And I was making all this money. She said I was doing all this stuff, and she was like, I felt led to move to Alabama, still working for the same company. She said, and all of my superiors and colleagues are on my back because I'm not hitting the numbers I was hitting before. And they was like, and so she was like, I'm trying to, you know, still be successful. And I'm like, well, are you making enough money to live? She says, yeah. She says, but I want my business to mean more. I wanted to be coaching. I wanted to be life development. She was like, and so I had to remove some people off the team because they were toxic. But the team I have now, I'm pouring into, they're being benefited. She said, but my colleagues are on me because I don't have the same numbers, not being successful. I was like, who defines success? I said, because evidently being number 3 in the country wasn't success, because you left it. If it was fulfilling, you'd have never left. And so you can't allow people, I was telling you can't allow people to define success for you, because your scale of success is different from theirs. Theirs may be a Grammy on the wall. Yours may, because she told me, she's like, I want to help people, I want to grow, disciple young ladies and mentor them. I'm like, are you doing that? Yes. Are you happy with that? Yes. What's your problem isn't what you're doing. Your problem is they think you ain't doing enough. Your problem ain't what you're doing. Your problem is who you're listening to.
And that sounds like a personal problem.
It's a personal problem.
That ain't got nothing to do with you as a person. That's them.
Absolutely. Your problem is you listen to people that you should listen to. Yep. So. And
they're making their problem your problem. You're accepting it to a certain degree.
Absolutely.
That's what it sounds like outside looking in on that.
Sure. You're trying to, like David and Goliath, you're trying to put on their armor. That's not your armor. You know, I don't. As a pastor, everybody wishes. This is the truth, bro. Every pastor, I think, I can say every. I can't say every. I don't like to speak in absolutes. I would suspect that the average pastor wishes that they pastor more people.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, you want to win. You know what I'm saying? You want to reach your full potential. But I think the thing that comes into play with that is you have to ask why. Do I want to help more people so it says to other people that I am successful, that I'm a good pastor, I'm a good preacher? Or do you want to see more people because there's more people you feel like you can help?
Right.
You know, it just redefines success, bro. Success for me is not I need to see X amount of people. Success is I need to see X amount of people go to the nth potential of what they can be.
See, I feel the same when I see artists post like the Spotify wrap-up numbers at the end of the year. Like, we reached this many people. Yeah. Like, did you reach who you were supposed to?
Right.
Like,
right.
That's,
right.
I quit posting that stuff. I was like, nah, man, the numbers ain't important. It's
and I would say, I'm sure they have some importance. They're not most important.
Right.
They have some value, but that can't be the carry.
Right. I'm not going to define my year as being successful whether or not I reach more people. Like, do I want to reach more people? Sure, of course.
Absolutely.
I love to go platinum as an independent artist.
Yeah.
But if I don't, I've already won when I put the idea out and made it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
All this other stuff is just, surplus. That's the overflow.
Sure, you know what I'm saying? No.
That's still one of your phrases.
Yeah. So, no, it is cool, bro. I'm really excited about this project, man. And I can't say enough, just proud of your growth and your evolution and your transparency in it, because you put yourself in it. This ain't just music. This is the guy.
Thank you, man.
If you haven't heard, the Sit Down Sessions is a one-of-a-kind experience started right here in Birmingham. Come out to hear some of the best talents in the city as we provide you with lyrics and highlighters to choose your favorite lines and ask the creators themselves what it all means. We have a dope lineup with sounds by The Phase and Octopus, G.I. Magus as the host, along with special guests Specs the Great and Seven Rich. Can't forget about myself. My name is Eugene Wright, and we'll not only be celebrating my birthday, but the release of my new album and book, More Spiritual Than Lyrical. Advance tickets are $20 and includes lyrics, seating, and the Sankofa Suite gear bundle. For those that want to level up their experience, the Plus Pack gets an included copy of the new book and CD. The Max Pack gets you an additional book for the Ubis Cube and official art poster, while the Ultra Pack gets everything mentioned, plus a t-shirt, hat, and the album on vinyl. We may have to ship that to you. So get your tickets now and pull up to the Greenhouse at 602 19th Street, Ainsley on Friday, September 5th. Can't wait to see you at the Sit Down Sessions for More Spiritual Than Lyrical, brought to you by The Flourish and Sankofa Suite, a creative culture company.